Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Microphone check. All right. Well. Let's get into some charts. All right. Use those boxes. Okay. Let's get going here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are on the globe. Let's talk about this madness. Hey, folks, welcome back to Surely Sound Studio. My name is Martin. You can call me Marty. And this is my show. So, let's go. What do you know? What happened? What do you know? Well, we can go over a few things that we know. A few things I want to talk about today. We're going to get into the charts. We're going to go all the way back to the weekly. Dive in from the large time frames all the way down to the small time frames and see what we think is going to happen. Not much has changed. I'll be honest with you. My opinion has stayed pretty much the same for what we're likely to see throughout this year. However, there is some big things happening in the geopolitical world. So, of course, we want to try and understand what the heck is going on with all this stuff, eh? And what does it mean for the markets? What does it mean for investments? Let's get into it. First thing we're going to do, turn the music down a little bit. I think that's probably loud enough. Check 1 2. Can you hear me? Am I coming through loud and clear? Let's go and look at, well, let's just go right to the weekly. We'll get into the geopolitical stuff after. Let's look at the Bitcoin chart. We're going to go and have a look at the market cap. So this is not the price of Bitcoin. This is the money in Bitcoin. The fiat dollars that people have decided to buy Bitcoin with and are now holding Bitcoin with. We have a market cap of $1.33 trillion in Bitcoin at the current moment. It's pretty interesting chart. It obviously looks a lot similar to Bitcoin as far as the price goes, but it's just the money in Bitcoin, and of course that's why it looks similar, because more money goes in, price goes up, right? So it's a good thing to pay attention to, the market cap. The significances I'm noticing here right away. Last time we make a high, we make a low, we make a new high. Our next low happens to be right around the previous high of the last time. It doesn't go back far enough for us to do that again, I guess. But where are we now? We made a high, we made a low, we made a new high, and now we are actually right around the previous high of the last cycle. Interesting. Duly noted. The another thing I want to point out is our strength, our relative strength index. Near the bottom, of course, we were down here. We are at a very similar level, if not the same level as we were about here. And so this kind of looks like, honestly, kind of looks something like this, like we're about here. Money flow is crossing over into the red. RSI is down here. And what we typically see with these indicators is that they will actually lead and start to go up before price goes up. And the reason for that is that it's the big whales, the big money, trying to liquidate all the people, but it stops working. So they're trying to push price down, but it's getting stronger. And eventually it breaks, all their short positions are forced to close, which creates market buy orders, which pushes the price up. So similarities here to the 2022 bear market. We actually broke below the 200 and got stuck underneath it. And that's kind of when everybody got super bearish and thought we were going to zero. And of course, short liquidity adds fuel to the fire. And so kind of significant because I do still believe that they are trying to keep the price down. Again, this is the market cap, this isn't the price, but they're trying to keep the price down, trying to keep money out of Bitcoin, trying to scare people into selling their Bitcoin because they want to buy it. So let's just have a look at this quick little chart here. I'll drag down. Whale accumulation trends, on-chain realized cap for new whales spiking, supporting broader buying pressure. So this purple is new whales. So new people that have not been in the market for a long time buying, I believe it was over 1,000 Bitcoin. To be on this chart, you have to buy at least 1,000 Bitcoin. So new people coming into the market, buying over 1,000 Bitcoin is skyrocketing right now. While you see WAR in the news, they're buying Bitcoin. They're buying assets. They're buying the blood, literally creating the blood so they can buy it. This is how the world works. I'm not going to apologize for it because it is what it is. It's not my opinion. They create conflict to provide the solution. They create conflict to print money. They create conflict to scare you out of the markets. They create conflict to keep you scared and controlled. They create conflict to keep you asking for help. They create conflict. They create all these problems for their benefit and to screw you over, because we are the masses. They are the few. They know that. They don't want you to know that, right? I've talked about this many times, but it does not matter whether you are left, right, top, bottom, upside down, right side up. All of your media-induced ideas are false or skewed out of reality. By design, they don't want you to know the truth, because if you knew the truth, you wouldn't have to go asking for answers. They want to provide those answers so that they can take your money, so they can take your tax dollars, so that they can infinitely print money and inflate their asset value and borrow against it, tax-free, right? Rich people don't pay taxes. Poor people pay taxes. Smart people don't pay taxes. Dumb people pay taxes. Sorry to say that. I pay taxes. Don't get offended. I'm not there yet because that's right. Very smart. It's just a turn of phrase, so to speak. It doesn't necessarily mean dumb people pay taxes, but there is, let's just say lazy people pay taxes, because all you really need to do, especially nowadays with a AI agent in your pocket, is to spend some time figuring out what you need to do to not pay taxes, right? So this is actually just the beginning of what I've been saying for a while is going to be a wild year. Here we are, March 1st, only 2 months in starting the third month here, we've got loads of craziness. Loads of craziness. And the craziest thing of it all is you already forgot about the crazy stuff that happened 2 weeks ago. Did you? All the Epstein files and all that stuff. Now it's just meh. Attention to the new thing. Right? And what is this? What are we going to do here? Well, we're going to need to print more money to fund these investments. We're going to need more artillery. We're going to need more. More what? I don't know. Just more. And we're going to need to print money to do it. So please understand and stop. We need more Bitcoin. We need more Bitcoin. Everybody needs more Bitcoin. That's right. And if you haven't understood that yet, then you need to stop being lazy and try and figure out why you need more Bitcoin. Generally speaking, in an inflationary monetary policy, you need more assets in general, okay? It doesn't really matter what asset you use. Bitcoin just happens to be the easiest available asset for people, modern day, with technology to buy. You don't need a lender to mortgage a house to buy Bitcoin. You can just buy it $10 at a time, every day if you want to, every week, whatever suits your budget. It is the easiest way to make it in this world. Let's go. Well, that's true. But the thing is that with technology, AI we're already seeing it have effects. The thing is that, again, though, it's just a created problem so that they can provide the solution. It's gonna shake things up a bit, for sure. Just like the internet did, just like electricity did. When it comes in, when new things are invented, it shakes the market. The market has to adapt. Things have to change. Okay, so change is never fun for most people. You should not have that outlook on life, though, because change is actually a fantastic thing when it comes to a chance for learning, right? So a lot of people get turned off by something they don't understand. I'm the complete opposite. As soon as something I don't understand is put in front of me, I am addicted to it and want to figure out more about it. My brain turns on at the chance to learn something new, at the chance to find a new outlook on anything or perspective. You know, talk to as many people as you can. The worst thing you're going to learn is that you're not going to talk to that person again, but you're going to learn something. It's the same for information on charts, information on the internet. Always do your own research. Spend the time, do your due diligence, and it will pay off dividends. Always has, always will. Keynesian economics, I've heard people say it different ways. I don't know exactly what it is or how you would properly say it, but you can look it up. Basically, it goes over the inflationary policy that we have abided by for over 100 years now, where we need to print money to stimulate the economy. And if we don't, then things fall apart. And when we are in a boom, we need to stop printing money to ease inflation. But the discipline is gone. And now we are printing money regardless. And now we've gotten to the point where interest payments are larger than the largest payment. So I don't know. It doesn't make any sense why we're still doing this, but this is an example of why the world is getting so crazy. The media is leading you to believe that the world is getting so crazy because they don't want you to understand that the whole system is doomed, mathematically broken, unfixable. They are scrambling to try and figure it out. Meanwhile, they're putting news story after news story after crazy shit in front of you so that you don't go knocking on the door asking, hey, what's going on here? You know, they are doing this all for a reason, and it happens time and time again. If you know your history, you know that towards the end of any empire, society, colony, things get the craziest right before the end, because the people who are in charge know that the end is near, right? Future's uncertain. The end is always near. Woke up this morning, got myself a beer. I didn't actually do that. I should have, though. But I had enough of those last night. Went to a great show. And enjoyed myself. Grateful Dead cover band was pretty awesome at Dakota. Great venue. Awesome place. Very appreciative of that. There is a drummer in the studio. I guess we double booked. Hopefully you can hear me and it's not too aggressive. But it doesn't matter, because nothing that I say or do is financial advice or should be taken seriously. I'm just a guy on YouTube knocking on the door saying, hey, what's going on here, right? And I think other people should be too. You're going to have to position yourself for what's happening, because regardless of your opinion about anything, the break is inevitable. They know this. They're planning for it. You should too. So why do you think so many people are buying Bitcoin? Because it's an asset that's strong against the inflated dollar. Why do you think so many people are trying to accumulate everything, really? All the stock market, houses, they are accumulating as much as they can because they know what's happening. And that's the other thing that's crazy too, is that like the stock market is basically propped up on printed money funneled through Japan at a lower interest rate than the interest rate that we charge here, so that they can pocket the difference, because they make interest. When you invest, you make interest. When you borrow, you pay interest. So we borrow from Japan, lower interest rate, and we invest and make a higher interest rate. This is how the globe works. Okay? This is how the financial system works. Don't be a pawn in the financial system. Understand how it works. Become a bishop. You're never going to be the king. You don't want to be the queen. But you can be a bishop. You can definitely be a bishop. You can be a knight if you want to, but that has some cons to it that you don't really want to get involved with. You could be a hero. It might happen, but it's risky business. Just be a bishop. Strive to be a bishop. On the chessboard. It's a metaphor. Okay? Let's go down to the daily on the Bitcoin price. Because you're probably thinking to yourself, Murdy, there's so many people accumulating Bitcoin. Why is the price going down? Well, let me answer that for you. The price was unsustainably high for too long. We could tell because we were high. We were getting lower and the price was getting higher. Right? We've talked about this. The same thing happens on the top, same thing happens on the bottom, just inverted. The charts are the same. As above, so below. It's all the same. So when we make a high here and we start to cool off, and then we make another high that's higher, but our strength wasn't. That is liquidations, whales, forcing people out of their positions, understanding that the price is going to go lower. So they don't want to pay these people who are shorting all through here. So they pump the price up, they manipulate the price with the amounts that they have, and wipe all these people out before moving down. Now, the positive to this, now don't let that turn you off, because it's going to happen in any market. People that have more money have a ability to move it around. But look at this. This is the last, what do we have here? 2 years, 2024, 2025. They're only able to move the price around this much. If we go back to the last cycle, you can see way bigger swings here, right? No adjustment to the size of the chart. Look at the moves here, way bigger. Of course, price was cheaper, so it took less money to move it. Also, there was less Bitcoin distributed amongst the people. It was less concentrated. It's getting more and more concentrated. See, like, look at this, like wham, wham, massive moves, massive. As we mature as a market, they will be able to manipulate the market less. And if you actually take your Bitcoin off of exchanges and hold it in cold storage, then they can't use your money to manipulate the markets. Now that's how the banks work. Everybody is supposed to save your money, put it in an RRSP. But they just take that money and manipulate the markets to scare you and try and force you to sell so that they can buy it, right? If you have Bitcoin on an exchange, you can buy a hard drive wallet, cold storage wallet, and you can send it to that wallet. Now, when you do that, that Bitcoin has to actually be taken from the exchange and given to you. In the bank, you have money on a screen. It's an IOU. They don't have your money. You don't have your money. It's a digital number on a screen that's just representing an IOU, right? It was originally paper was the IOU. It's supposed to be backed by gold. We were off that in 71. Now we don't even have money anymore. It's just a digital number on a screen. And when you ask for the cash, they got to give it to you, right? But they're making that harder every day. When you go to send your Bitcoin off of an exchange, no one can do anything about it, okay? The blockchain is decentralized. Nobody controls it. The users get to see everything that's happening and get to moderate it, but no one person can be denied or granted any more than anybody else. It's true democracy. If you understand anything about democracy, you will know that there is no such thing as democracy in politics. It's an illusion of choice. And you probably don't understand that until you actually see real democracy on chain, blockchain. Decentralized blockchain technology is real democracy. Not what you were taught in school, not where you were led to believe in the news, in politics. That's an illusion of choice. That's not democracy. And of course, how would you know that until you were able to compare it to actual democracy here? That's another thing. Like, so many people have no idea what's good or bad until they can compare something that's good or bad. If the way it is all you know, then it's just the way it is, right? Think about it. When we're babies, if a baby's born without a leg or without an arm or something like that, it's just the way it is, right? It's not till the baby gets older and realizes, hey, all these people have 2 arms, I only have 1, that it kind of occurs to it that, oh dang, like what's the deal here, right? But originally, is if it's all it knows, it adapts, it exists, carries on like a dog, 3-legged dog. You're never going to stop a 3-legged dog. I mean, you can try. Like, dogs just, no matter what, like, they will continue to go until they're done. Nothing really makes them upset most of the time. You know what I mean, though? In comparison, how could you know what's good or what's bad if you don't actually see something that's good or see something that's bad, right? So if it's just the way it is, that's what they're trying to do, is lead you to believe that the way that it is the way that it is, okay? And it could be much worse over there, so you don't want to go over there. You want to stay here and pay as much taxes as you possibly can while this system is crumbling, and we want to try and get as much of it as we can before it completely crumbles, rug is pulled, all the money's gone. So something like AI will mix everything up quite a bit, and we're already seeing it happening. So forever, well, not forever, but let's just say the last 100 years, governments have relied on income tax I guess it's only like 80 years. Relied on income tax. That's why they've been create jobs. Because they want more income tax. That's why the civil rights movement happened, so they could create more income tax. They could tax like everything that you think was for change or for progression. It's actually just screwing you more. You have to pay attention to the data, okay? Don't look at the flashy lights. Don't look at the flashy news anchors and their hair and their smiles and whatever else. Look at the charts. Look at the numbers. Do it for yourself. Do your own research. Figure it out. It's not that hard. You can do it. You have a supercomputer in your pocket that will do it for you if you just have the means to pay attention to it. Because you're going to want to do it sooner rather than later, because things are not going to get better soon. I got a feeling things get worse before they get better. And I think they probably will. I've been saying this for months. Ever since we were up here, living life to the fullest. Jays are in the World Series, baby. Let's go. Right? Too high. When you're too high, you're going to crash. And when they print money to infinity, it's gone too high. So it's going to crash. Keynesian economics, trying to save the day. But ultimately, we know the more they print, the more interest has to be paid. They're trying to inflate the debt away. But it's not working very well. Because it's hurting the lower class, hurting the middle class, eliminating the middle class. Because the people that save money, their savings gets wiped away. So literally in 2020 and 2021, if you had 50 grand in the bank, you still have 50 grand in the bank, but it buys you the equivalent of $25,000 did in 2019. Right? So the number stays the same, actually might go up a little bit, leading you to believe that things are okay. But then when you go to the grocery store and you buy the same thing that you've been buying for years and the bill is twice as much, that's robbery. No, it's not a tax. It's not because of tariffs. It's not because of labor markets. It's not because of this or that. It's straight up inflation. It's designed to happen. It's literally in the economic book of how we run the financial system and the monetary policy. Now, discipline is out the window because it does make sense to a certain point. If discipline is maintained, certain policies are held accountable and standards are met, then it's okay. But we just let them, screw it all up in 2020, 2021, and 2022. While you were staying inside, doing all the stupid shit that they told you to do, they were absolutely ruining the economy. It had nothing to do with a sneeze or a cough. They printed money so that they could inflate their asset prices, borrow against them tax-free, and screw your savings over. Look at the markets. Look at the charts. I don't care what you think. That's what happened. I don't have an opinion about it. I look at the charts for data. I'm sharing the data. And that's all it is. That's what's happening. Let's have a quick look at this. Step 1, socialists scream, tax the rich. Dumbest thing you can do. Step 2, the rich leave. Obviously. Why would you want to pay taxes? If you're rich, you can just go somewhere else. I'll just buy a house somewhere else. Doesn't matter. Screaming tax the rich is the dumbest thing. There's no thought beyond, oh, they have more money than me, they should pay more taxes. And that's it. That's where the thinking ends. Are you kidding me? They have more money than you because they worked harder than you. They positioned themselves properly in an economic situation that is clear if you pay attention. Not only that, they also own businesses and provide jobs for tens of thousands of, if not more, people. And if you want to tax them more, they're just going to, 1, leave, or 2, say that you put a cap on the amount of money that they can make before a tax increase happens. Let's just say it's $400,000 in a year. Everything after $400,000 have to pay more taxes on, right? Which is what's happening right now. Well, guess what? obviously they're not going to stop making money. So they're going to always take step one, is just leave. And so there you go. The business is gone. You've lost your job. Your friends have lost their job. All because the rich guy was forced out by the morons. And he's just like, well, whatever, I'll just go to another country where I don't have to pay taxes and continue to do what I do. Most of it's online anyways, so it all just matters where I have my residency for how much tax I pay, right? So they're going to leave. And the only other thing that they could possibly do is even worse for you. If they, as soon as they make that 400,000, which they probably do in a couple months, then they close the business. They don't even have, then you lose your job. Taxing the rich equals you losing your job. Lower class, middle class, unless you're an entrepreneur working for yourself, if you work for a company that you're trying to force to pay more taxes, it's going to hurt you, right? So do your own research. Think this through. And again, I don't understand why everybody's such goldfish around here. Like, we have history. We've seen things happen over and over and over again. We're in the exact same pattern that we've been in before, and we're going to see the exact same result that happened before. So why wouldn't you pay attention? Step 2, the rich leave. Step 3, socialists celebrate. Oh, great. Now where's the tax money going to come from? Because the tax revenue goes down, your taxes go up. Well, great. Now we have to fill that hole. Who's going to fill that hole? Oh, you lost your job too because the business left when the billionaire left. So now you have no job and you have more taxes to pay. Socialists go broke and are voted out. Capitalism saves the day. Step 8, taxes go down. Step 9, economy thrives. Step 10, socialists scream tax the rich. And so the cycle continues. Right? Where are we right now? We are already at tax revenue goes down. It doesn't matter how much taxes, you're never going to make the payments back, okay? It doesn't matter yet. Looking good, sounds great. Make sure you hold on to it nicely, okay? Treat it respectfully. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. There's no amount of tax that is going to pay the deficit. There's no such thing as balancing the book. It's mathematically impossible. So what can you do, right? What can you do? Well, you have to have assets. We've talked about this, and we'll continue to talk about it until everybody gets it. One asset that I've been asked about recently, aside from Bitcoin, is gold. Let's have a look at gold. Good old-fashioned gold. Now, the question is gold a good investment? Well, let's look at the history. Let's see. Is gold a good investment? If I bought gold here, it looked like it was a pretty good investment. If I bought gold here, short term, it didn't look like a very good investment, but long term, it was good. Now, this is the daily chart. We're only going back about a year and a half, 2 years here. And so you could have bought gold anytime aside from about 2-3 weeks ago, and you would be in profits. And what do you think is going to happen after this? Down, right back up again. Down, right back up again. Look at the volume recently. Lots of people are interested in gold because of currency debasement. Plain and simple. Currency debasement has been happening for generations. We know it's not going to stop. Gold. The worst thing, let's go to the weekly. The worst thing gold has ever done is gone sideways. So from August 2020 to December 2023, what's that, 3.5 years? 2.5 years, something like that. It went sideways. If you DCA'd that whole time, you probably you doubled your money in the years following, right? You doubled and tripled your money in the years following, because that was only around less than $2,000 an ounce US, and now we're at $5,000, right? So over doubled your money, and all you needed to do was DCA. That's the worst it's done. Now, it's had longer periods where it's gone sideways. We have August 2011. Interesting, it's another top, eh? all the way to August 2022. Down, but mostly sideways. So if you have a long-term outlook on your investment strategy, which you always should, there's basically never been a bad time to buy gold, right? If you're trying to buy and sell, well, I mean, you can trade, but as is an investment strategy, easy for everybody to understand, you DCA and you hold, because we know that the dollar is going to zero. Now, gold. Physical gold is going to be worth more to you than paper gold. Now, if you're asking me what's paper gold, it's just basically an IOU. The same thing that fiat currency is. It's an IOU. Paper, IOUs, cash, anything that's been created that's supposed to represent an IOU for something else will always go to zero. It's happened many times in history. It's not going to stop. And it's simple math. You add too much, it becomes less valuable. You charge interest on it and have to print money to pay that interest back because the interest doesn't exist in the first place. It's a never-ending debt spiral that happens to every single colony, empire, community, country, whatever you want to call it. Organization of people, same thing happens every single time. Now, do I think gold is going to go sideways for a few more years? I don't. Look at this thing. I am not buying gold, personally, because it's not really my thing. For one, for me, where am I going to keep my gold? I don't really care to have a bunch of bars of gold. Would I want to keep them in a bank? I mean, you'd have to have them in a vault of some kind, but then you're paying them to hold on to it. So potentially they're making the interest, the gains that you should be making on it, you're paying to them. So there's a little bit of discrepancy for me. What? Oh, nice. It's different for everybody, right? If you have a means to hold gold, then it will protect you against currency debasement. You just have to remember, like, at some point you need somebody to buy that gold from you. So are you going to be able to take a gold bar or a gold coin or whatever you have, and are you going to be able to actually have somebody pay you market value for it? Because you can go into like a pawn shop, gold and silver place right now and ask for $5,000 an ounce, and they're not going to give it to you. But you'll go, oh, well, what? But the price says it's right here. And they're going to say a bunch of things that aren't going to make sense, but it's going to be their policy and they need to protect themselves and this and that. And they're going to be like, but if you want to sell that gold, I'll give you, 70% of market value right now, cash. And it's going to be up to you, right? So that 30% difference, is that going to be your profit? Are you actually just going to end up breaking even? Right? Like, you just got to think ahead when it comes to gold. And if you have the means to offload, to hold, to sell, to buy, then absolutely, it's been the best performing investment for thousands of years. Shiny metal, who knew, right? Personally, we are living in a digital era. I'm not going backwards, right? I'm not going back to a horse and buggy. I'm not going back to candlelight in my house. I'm moving forward, and I'm going to use what most people consider is digital gold. The Bitcoin, right? Decentralized on-chain assets. Bitcoin is just the best performing one. There's many, arguably, but Bitcoin's the only one you really need to start to learn about to try and understand. Right now, Bitcoin's at $66,000 US to the dollar. Oh, no, yeah, see, $66,000. It's only been around since 2009. Gold's been around forever, and it's 5,000 an ounce. What does that tell you? Just quick math. Bitcoin has been much better performing in the last 15 years than gold has. They are following a similar path. This is zoomed into the 5-minute chart here, but they are following a similar path simply because of currency debasement, because we value them and compare them to the US dollar. That's what we find in currency. That's how we find the value of it. Now, where's Bitcoin going to go? As far as price goes, it's going to be infinite. The funny thing is, though, this is a little contradictory, but the price will never stop going up, but it will never reach $1 million. Quote me on that. Clip this if you want to. Bitcoin will never reach $1 million. And if it does, it's not going to be there for long, because there's going to be no point for us to value things in the US dollar or any fiat dollar for that matter if Bitcoin's at $1 million. Okay? The currency has collapsed. Nobody is using it. So you're not going to be saying Bitcoin's $1 million. You're going to be saying one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin. And you're going to start valuing things in Satoshis or something along those lines, because Bitcoin is going to be for billionaires. Okay? Bitcoin is for billionaires. Crypto is for millionaires. Guess what? It doesn't take that long, especially during a hyperinflation era, for anybody to become a millionaire simply by holding assets, because the currency is being inflated away. So long term, all you need to do is buy something, DCA into an asset, and before too long, we're talking like probably less than 10 years, you can be a millionaire, because the hyperinflation curve is steepening. It's going to happen quicker and quicker. We're watching the world get crazier every day because that inversion curve is getting steeper. So they need to come up with new crazy stories to distract you from what's happening, from reality, right? It's funny because it's like I watch cartoons with my kids and it's the same thing over and over again. Oh, they're out and having a stroll, and then, oh, the bad guy comes and the bad guy's doing something bad. It's like, didn't we just... like 15 minutes ago, didn't we just deal with this guy? Oh, new episode, new problem. This is the problem. Here it is. I'm literally writing the problem, showing it to you, and then we're going to write the solution at the end. And then guess what? Episode's going to end, and we're going to do the same thing again in the next episode. Probably with the same guy too. Same bad guy, different story. Same bad guy, different bad thing. It's like, well, why isn't he in jail? Why didn't you just kill the guy? Like, you know what I mean? Why didn't you eliminate the problem? No, we don't want to eliminate the problem. We just want to provide a solution. But every solution creates 2 more problems. Yeah, by design. You have to understand, this is how it works. And if you don't position yourself properly, you will suffer. Many people are suffering every single day, and it breaks my heart. Because my life's getting better every single day because of inflation. Because I understand how to leverage myself, leverage other people's money to make my life better. Because I live in a Bitcoin standard, which means I already compare things in Bitcoin price. I use the US dollar to help other people understand. But for me, it's a Bitcoin standard. The funny thing is how often people ask me Canadian dollars. I'm like, dude, I live in Canada. It's a great place. It's still a great place. It's trending. Its trend is odd right now, I will admit, but the policies are absurd, absolutely absurd. And the fact that people are just putting up with them and going on with their daily life, struggling and doing so too, blows my mind. There's many things in documents that I feel like if everybody read and understood, there'd be riots in the streets. Or better yet, just opt out of the system. That violence doesn't need to happen. We don't need a revolution, so to speak. And you could. It's happened in other countries, it's happened in the past, and it's worked, but it doesn't, with technology and what we have now, we don't need to do that. All we need to do is pay attention to what they're doing, not to what they're saying, and do as they do. And then once everybody gets on the right train, the right side of the tracks, things could start to level out. The unfortunate thing is, not a lot of people are going to hop on that train. A lot of people are going to get sucked into the latest Netflix series or the whatever's going on the screen in front of them, and they're not even going to pay attention to the reality of that their life is being inflated. Their currency, their value is being inflated away every single day. So it doesn't even matter if you work harder. The harder you work, the less you get. You need to work smarter and understand how to invest. And the other thing is, this is also, I mean, in my world anyways, do your own research always. But in my world anyways, a lot of people are quite aware of currency debasement now. So I don't know if it's becoming mainstream, but it almost seems like it does to me, which is making me skeptical. But it's good because if people overinvest, then there will be a correction. And that's the best opportunity for anybody that hasn't had a chance to invest, to start investing. And that's why, if it does happen, you should have an emergency fund, cash on the side, or at least a means to make cash so that you can take advantage of that. Because the corrections never last very long. And whenever we rebound, bounce back up, it always ends up going up 200 to 300% more than it went down. When it crashes like, oh my goodness, crashed 50%. It's like, well, guess what? Take a snapshot, send it to yourself, and open it in a year or 2 years and laugh, because you're going to be like, wow, it was down 50%. It went from $40 a share down to $20 a share. Here we are 2 years later, and it's $200 a share. And I was crying about the 40 to 20, right? I wasn't. You're right. I wouldn't, because I understand how it works. And that's why I'm on here. That's why I'm guilt-free too, because I'm on here telling you guys, hey, pay attention. This is what's happening, whether you like it or not. This is how I'm positioning myself. My life is getting better because of inflation, and others is getting worse. Most people's, it's getting worse. Doesn't have to, though. All you need to do is understand how it works. Your life's getting better because you live on a Bitcoin standard, and you understand. She's 5 years old and she understands Bitcoin. More about Bitcoin than 99% of the population, simply because she hangs out with me all the time. I'm very excited to watch her grow and see what she becomes, because she already has a very clear idea of financial system and how money works and how it doesn't work depending on what you do with it. And so she's not going to have to go to college. She's not going to have to go to university. She's going to be a business owner by the time she's like 15. And she's probably going to have many people wanting to give her money, just like people want to give me money. And I have not done that yet. So if that's what you're thinking, I'm not into doing that. The amount of times people have asked me to take their money is unbelievable to me. Literally was talking to a guy a couple months ago about all of this, just conversation over a couple beers in a garage with a truck, and got into it, started talking about this. I started explaining it all to him, and he was mostly listening, a couple questions, but before too long, he's like, you know what, man, I got 10 grand. Can I just give it to you? I said, absolutely not. Please educate yourself. It's not that hard. Just be intrigued by learning something new instead of being put off by it and just having somebody else deal with it for you. That is the mentality that the government has installed into you. Don't worry about it. Let somebody else deal with it. No, don't let somebody else deal with it. Do your own research. Go on YouTube or whatever you have to do to find what you're trying to figure out. It works for anything. And figure it out yourself. Learn something new. Do something for yourself. Provide that value for yourself. One, you're going to get your job done. Whatever you're trying to accomplish, you will get it done. Have the patience and make sure you get it done. Two, if you have to buy new tools to get that job done, well, guess what? You paid a bit more money. to buy those tools, but you have those tools now. So you can now use those tools when you want to do it again, when you want to do it another time for something else, or when somebody else asks you to do it for them because they haven't had the patience to learn from themselves yet. And so then that investment in your own value to fix your own problem actually ends up paying off in the long run again and again and again. That's why it's so valuable to do your own research, solve your own problems, and just pay attention to how you can do it and have that mentality, that mindset of how am I going to fix this? How am I going to take care of this problem without getting anybody else involved? Unless you need to ask for help or, just for informational purposes, stuff like that, reach out, blah, 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 learn, and then you'll be better on the other side. You will be smarter, you will know more, your brain will be denser, you're building those neural connections, which will allow you to think better about everything, become smarter about everything. When you learn something new, it actually has an effect on your brain as a whole. And the more you learn, the more you're able to learn. And the more you're able to learn, the more you're able to understand. And the more you're able to understand, the better you will do in life. And it's amazing. It's an amazing power that you can install in yourself. You have to uninstall the software that the government's installed in you that says, get somebody else to solve your problems. Uninstall that. Go up, left click, uninstall. And then install your value for doing it yourself, how you can solve problems, and life will continue to get better for you every single day. And it's truly magical. So, where is Bitcoin price actually going to go in the next few months? Well, if we hold up here and we just go sideways, this could be somewhere near the bottom. I am not in that camp. I do think we're going to go lower. I do think we see sub 50K Bitcoin, but it's going to be because of some sort of news, panic, and those people are trying to do that. You have to understand, they are trying to force the price down so that they can buy. They want to fill those bids. We have bids lower, which means people want to buy, and they want to fill those bids. So they do whatever they can in their power to manipulate the markets to force you to sell so that they can fill their bids. Right? They have lots of power because they're in families that have been doing this for generations, and those families taught their kids, not the school system, right? They go to private school or Montessori schools or stuff like that, different things. The public school system is designed to keep you only growing so much. It's basically a babysitting situation to keep you just right where they want you. No higher, hopefully not no lower, because they won't want you to be useless. Unfortunately, that's for another conversation, but the whole welfare thing is not good too. It's like, why do we pay people for not working and then we tax people for working? Like ultimately, if you incentivize people to not work, your economy is going to hurt. Plain and simple. If you incentivize people to not work because you're going to take money for them on their paycheck, they're going to not work. You tax cigarettes and alcohol to try and incentivize people to not do it, right? That's what you say anyways. That's what they say. Yet people still do it. Well, then why are you taxing them to work? Why are you taxing them to hold your economy, hold up and prop up your economy? Like, a strong economy is the people in it. It's not what your country can do for you. It's what you can do for your country. Plain and simple. So everything's backwards. It makes no sense to me, and hopefully it makes no sense to you, and you are working on positioning yourself to take advantage of it, because we need a major shift here, and it's going to happen whether you like it or not, because AI ain't going to put up with this crap for very much longer. It's already seeing the cracks in the system, exploiting those cracks, and saying, you guys, what are you doing here? This isn't going to work. It can do all these multiplications instantly. It can already take the trend that we're on, look 20, 30, 40 years in the future and say, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. I can do it. Obviously it can too, right? And it can do it in seconds. Every scenario you can possibly think of. the way that we're going right now is not sustainable. The economy, the Keynesian economics is designed to stimulate and grow an economy from nothing or from a bad place, right? And we've talked about this before. Development is profitable. Sustainability is not. So that's why countries are built up and then they're bombed down. And then other countries are built up and then they get bombed down. And then they build the other countries up and then they bomb them down. Because growth, development, GDP is what it's all about. There's no sustainability chart saying, hey, how sustainable are we right now? Right? No, we don't care how sustainable we are. We're going to continue to inflate until it breaks. Then we're going to bomb it. Then we're going to start somewhere else. Because remember, the trans globalists don't care about what country you live in. They don't care about what country you came from. They don't care about your beliefs. All they want to do is make money. And they don't care about any assets as long as they can manipulate them to make money. Right? Now, are they manipulating to make money? Or are they manipulating to position themselves for the future? Think about that. Have yourself a good day. I'm going to go to the beach because it's a beautiful day outside. And we've done enough.
And I'm coming too.
Enough research for the day. So let's go have fun. Have yourself a wonderful week. Make sure you like and subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Hit the bell for notifications so that you're not left in the dust when I make emergency videos that could change your life, right? You don't want to be missing out on that stuff. So make sure you hit that bell. And, DCA and live life happy way. All right, folks. Peace out. I recommend putting your opinions aside and learning how to think logically